I have one more object called clients, right? So these are basically two tables. So this is what needs to be created in the backend. One more thing I need is list of consultants, people who work for me on the projects. So let me create a small table here. Consultants, ID of the consultant, first name of the consultant, last name, email ID, first name, last name, email ID, let's say a phone number also. All right. So initially what we see that for this project management app, for us to create this project management app, we require three objects, right? So first thing that we'll have to create is at the backend. So you need to create tables in the backend or the objects in the backend so that the data can be stored there, right? After creating the objects, what needs to be done? We need to create the fields. Once the objects are created, next thing will be creating the fields. Okay. So let us do this. Here this is on my screen. So we'll create the objects one by one. We'll create this project, client and consultant object one by one. So creating an object is very simple. You just need to, I'm just writing it down here as well. You just need to go to setup, need to go to create, and then need to click on objects. That's it. After that, you need to say new custom object. Okay. Creating field is same, but there for creating a field, you need to select the object and then create fields. Records we have already seen. How do we create records? Right. Record is the data that is entered into it. So records is not a challenge. Tab creating, go to setup, create, and then go to tabs. App creating is again simple. Go to setup, create, and then go to apps. That is it. So this is how things will be created. Now we'll come to this. We'll start creating all these things one by one. But before that, there is a small thing that I want to tell you about. That is standard and custom. So in Salesforce, we have two things, standard as well as custom. So like for our object, we have standard object and custom object. Now what is standard object, custom object? Anything which has been provided by Salesforce. Okay, so when you log in into Salesforce, you saw that there are so many objects which are already there, right? Campaigns, leads, contact opportunity, these were already there. So these are the objects which are already there in the Salesforce, right? Salesforce does not allow you to delete these objects. It does not allow you to make a lot of changes in this. You cannot make too many changes there. Okay. So that is the reason why these are called standard. So these objects are standard for all of us. Your campaign object you will also have, I will also have, and these will be pretty much similar. You can make only small changes there. Okay. So these are standard objects. Custom objects are the ones that you would create. So what Salesforce has provided is standard. What we create is custom. Okay, and it is applicable for all the things. Standard standard object, custom object, standard field, custom field, standard app, custom app, right? So for almost everything we will have this standard and custom concept. So we just need to understand that whatever Salesforce has provided is standard, what we are creating is custom, right? So the objects that we are going to create are custom objects basically, okay? So we need to create the custom objects, that's fine. Go to setup, as I told you. Go to create, under the build, we need to go to create, and then we need to go to the objects. Setup, create objects, then click on new custom object. Give it a label and a plural label. Label is just, the name that you want to display to the end users. So you can put a name here which is like projects. First thing is projects, right? Okay, so give a label, plural label, and then object name. Okay. Any table that we are creating, think of it. Whenever we are creating an object, it should at least have one column. You cannot have a table without, with 0 column. It should have a minimum of 1 column, right? Or at least 1 field. That is what we call it. So while you're creating the object, at this point of time, what are we creating? We are creating the object, project object, okay? But at that time only it asks us, it by default, whenever you create an object, it creates the first field for it, right? So by default, it asks you for the name of it. The field will be created, okay? The field will be created automatically. It is just asking you for the label of it. Name of this field, the first field which is going to be created, it is by default name, N-A-M-E. This is the name of the field. And label of the field it would ask. So you can say project name or only project, whatever you want. You put a label to it and it's a text field. If you want to do reporting on the data from that object, you say allow reports. Fine. If you feel that at a later point of time you would need to generate reports using the data of that object, you say allow reports, otherwise you cannot select this. If you want to allow activities on that object, you say allow activities, otherwise not required. If you want to track field history is the previous history of some field of that object, right? In case you want to store that, you should, in case you want to track the field history, select that, otherwise don't select it, okay? Deployment status, keep it deployed. If you do not want the users to be able to use that object at this point of time, then make it in development, okay? Anything which has a status in development is not available for use. Something which has a status deployed is available for use. So just click on save. Your object is created, right? You see, custom object project has been created. Scroll down. Now, the object that we created is custom object. Hello.
Just one quick question here.
Yeah,
I see API name project _C. What is that?
Yeah, API name is something which will be used during our programming part once we come into the programming thing and all, right?
Okay.
All right. So now the interesting thing is, the moment you created this object, so this is what? This is a custom object. Okay. Now on a custom object, whenever you create an object, there are 4 fields which are created by default. You don't have to create. 4 fields are created by default. One of those we saw, name field. In addition to the name field, there are other 3 fields. One is created by, one is last modified by, and one is owner. So who created the field? Who is the owner of, who created the record? Who modified the record? Who was the last modifier of the record? And who is the owner of the record? So these 3 fields are there by default. Okay. So that is the reason why these 4 fields are called standard fields. See? Because there is something that Salesforce created. You cannot delete these fields. These fields will be there. So any object that you create by default comes with 4 fields. So 4 fields are already there. In addition to that, whatever fields you need, you will have to create them under the custom fields. Got that? So what all fields we need to create? ID, name, start date, end date. The name field already created, right? Start date, end date, estimated time. So these are the things that we need to create. Okay. So the ones that we need to create are the custom fields. So you can straight away go and click on the new custom field, new option. Let's say you want to create a field for start date. So your data type in the start date field will be what? Select the data type from here. What should be the data type? Anyone can tell me? For start date, what should be the data type?
Date.
Date. Right. So depending on what type of data you want to store in that field, if it is start date, end date, if it is currency, if it is email ID, if it is text, or you want to store number, URL, pick list, drop down basically. So whatever you want in that field, select the data type from here. Here we need a date. Click on next. Now it's pretty simple. Start date. If you want the field to be a required field, means a mandatory field. Required field, if you would have noticed while you try to create an account, this account name is a